Hello, everyone. Well, it's been a very sad week in the news. Very sad indeed. I've heard the news about young Jayland Walker. Jayland Walker, here are the facts. Here's what we know. Um, Jayland Walker was stopped at a traffic stop, and he refused to pull over, and so the police gave chase. And prior to this chase, he had been stopped by the police before and sped off and got away from the police successfully. But this time, he didn't get away. He raced with the police, and the police called for backup, and there were several squad cars following him, at least 4 squad cars, and maybe more. And they were all chasing Jayland Walker. Jayland Walker, supposedly, while he was driving, shot at the police. They said they heard gunfire, and that he had shot at the police. So if he shot at the police, that was their justification for continuing the chase and catching him at all costs, because he shot at the police. He was attempting to murder a police officer, so that's a couple of charges right there. And so, but we don't know if he shot at them. They just claimed he shot at them. But we don't know if he really shot at them. They said they saw a gun come out his window and that he shot at the police. But he didn't hit anyone. So he shot at the police, and then they got to this parking lot. And in the parking lot, Jayland jumped out of his moving vehicle and let the car roll away on its own and started to run. And they all got out of their squad cars and gave chase. And they attempted twice to hit him with a taser, but both times they attempted to hit him with a taser, it failed. Then he stopped running and turned around. And by the way, he was wearing a ski mask the whole time. He was wearing a ski mask. He turned around, faced the cops, and reached down to his waist. And they were sure he was reaching for a gun. So then they shot him. They fired 90 rounds. 8 officers fired 90 rounds, and 60 rounds hit him. And he was unarmed. He actually didn't have his gun with him, but they found the gun in the front seat of his car, along with a gold ring that was for his late fiancée. His fiancée died, and he was in mourning. He was in mourning for his fiancée, and depressed. So what do you guys think? Leave comments in the comment section below what you think was the motive for Jayland Walker's actions. To me, it sounds like the whole thing just sounds staged. It just sounds like a setup. Cops set up, the Jayland Walker set up. It just sounds like a setup, because it just doesn't sound right. It sounds totally outlandish. Totally outlandish. A ski mask and firing at the police, and then running away without a weapon, and then turning around to face the police and pretending you're reaching for your weapon. It just sounds like a setup so that the police could be found guilty of murder. And also, he was wearing a ski mask, but I guess that doesn't matter post-COVID. But the ski mask is usually worn by bank robbers and so on, and it's kind of scary. It scares people. As soon as they see someone wear a ski mask, they're scared. The ski mask. I think personally that Jayland Walker was depressed, and he was very sad about the death of his fiance, his girlfriend, and that gold ring on his in his front seat. I think he didn't want to live anymore. And he figured, if I'm going to go out, I might as go out in a blaze of glory and bring down the police while I'm at it. And so he staged the whole thing to get the cops riled up, and boy, were they riled up. They fired at him just like he was target practice. It was just like he was a target, and they were firing for target practice. It just sounds like they went nuts. The police went nuts and fired again and again and again and again and again. What they should have done is call for backup, establish a perimeter, close in on him, and take him down. Because once he was unarmed, but they didn't have time to react because he was reaching for his waist and he had already fired at them. So they knew he had a gun, and they had no way of knowing that he didn't have a gun on his person. They had no way of knowing. Now, they could have waited for him to draw a gun and then said, drop the weapon, and try to taser again. Taking a risk that he would shoot them, but they could have tried. They could have at least tried that before they fired 90 rounds and hit him with 60 rounds of ammunition. I don't know. It's terrible. It's a tragedy all around, and the police were in the wrong, but Jayland Walker was also in the wrong, and they have leeway now to claim that their actions were justified, that they were justified in shooting that many rounds at one person because of the threat that he presented and the way that he presented himself to the police that scared them. They were scared. The police were scared. Cops get scared all the time. They get scared too. They're just like ordinary, regular people, and they get scared. And they don't always do the right thing when they get scared. So Jayland scares the living daylights out of these police. And the police respond in kind. They shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot. And I can't even say how many times they shot. It just sounded like pop 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 pop. That's what the shooting sounded like, because they shot so many times at Jayland. And I extend my condolences to the family, of course, and feel terrible about what happened to Jayland. But Jayland did everything he wasn't supposed to do. He did everything wrong because he wanted to get shot. That's what I think. I think he wanted to get shot by the police so he could become a new martyr. These people that get shot by the police, they become martyrs, and they're glorified, and they're loved in their community. They're loved, and they're loved deeply. And so he wanted to be loved that way. He wanted to be loved. He wanted to be a martyr for the cause. He wanted to be remembered always. And he will be. He will be, because Black Lives Matter encourages young men to sacrifice all for the cause. They tell them to sacrifice all for the cause, so they've encouraged some of these shootings, I think, because some of these shootings, some of the people didn't want to be shot, but some of them maybe did want to be shot. Well, at least Jayland did. I can't speak for any other case off the top of my head because I'm not familiar with any other cases, but I know Jayland definitely was depressed and wanted to provoke the police into shooting him. But they shouldn't have shot him that many times. Oh my gosh. 90 rounds, 8 officers shooting all at once. Was that really necessary? Leave comments in the section below, in the comment section, and let me know what you think Jayland was thinking wearing a ski mask with a ring and a gun on his front seat, jumping out of a moving vehicle, turning around to face the cops. What was reaching for his waist? What was he thinking? What was his motive? What was going on in his mind? And the police officers did something terrible. They handcuffed his dead body. They handcuffed him first, then they performed CPR, then they left him on the ground dead, still wearing handcuffs. 60 rounds hit his body. There's no way he could survive that many bullet holes. Just terrible. And now for the 4th of July. 4th of July, and not just the 4th of July, but also simultaneously in places like Newark and Copenhagen, there have been these mass shootings. There's these mass shootings that are taking place all around the world. Newark, Copenhagen, and now Highland Park, Illinois, and a suburb of Chicago. There have been these mass shootings. And mass shooters, they don't ever tell you why. They don't ever tell you what their motivation is or what drove them to do it. They keep that a secret. They keep it a secret because it's like a code that all of these mass shooters are so cool because they're mysterious. They're so cool and mysterious because they think they're cool. They think they're cool because they think they're mysterious and that no one knows why they did it, and they want people to wonder why they did it. And the truth is they just didn't have a reason. It was senseless. It was a senseless crime and they don't have a reason. But really what they are, you know there's always a reason, and you know that they're disgruntled nerds. Yeah, that's what these shooters are. They're disgruntled nerds. This Cremo guy, the Cremo the Third, Bobby Cremo the Third, shot all of these people at the Highland Park 4th of July parade. And he found a ladder that was unsecured, climbed to the roof, started shooting. What do you want to bet he brought the ladder with him? And they didn't know about it. And then he started shooting with a AK-47 that had been, where the semi-automatic had been disabled, and it was made into a fully automatic weapon. And there's ways online that tell you how to do this, how to convert a gun into an automatic weapon and disable the function that makes it a semi-automatic. They can do that. They can do this. They can get a semi-automatic weapon and turn it into an automatic in the comfort of their own home. And so we know that he was using an automatic weapon because it was like put, 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 just continually shooting. 6 dead, many more injured, were taken to local hospitals. The dead range in age from 8 to 85. There was no particular target. He was just shooting as many people as he could, as fast as he could. He has tattoos on his neck, flower tattoos and leaves and foliage on his neck and also on his forehead. And he has a tattoo of a over here, this side, scar on his face, but it's not a real scar. It's a tattoo of a scar. Pretty weird guy. And he's so ugly. Oh my gosh, these guys are so ugly. I'm ugly too, but you know. Ugly guys. They're disgruntled nerds. They were nerds. They got picked on because they were strange looking or odd looking people. And they got picked on. And they were nerds. And now they want the revenge of the nerds. That was a name of a 80s movie, was Revenge of the Nerds. Now the nerds are seeking their revenge. And their revenge is mass shootings. It's never going to stop until they take all the guns away. And then, you know what they'll do? They'll just use a car and drive into a crowd. Like that one guy in Waukesha did. Drove into a crowd with his car, killed as many people with his car as he possibly could. They can't take away cars. So this is just going to keep happening. And get to the root cause. These nerds that have no reason for living, who are mentally ill, and would do anything for revenge against society. And blame the whole society and all the whole system, and blame everyone. And blame everyone but themselves, and they can hardly wait to kill. So stay safe out there this 4th of July. I can't recommend going to any fireworks displays. Maybe watch fireworks on your television instead, because it's dangerous. It really is dangerous. And if you're in the central time zone, the fireworks start at 9 for the national fireworks. Start at 9 p.m. Central. So, and you can see the 4th in Washington at 9 o'clock. So, stay safe. Stay at home, because the 4th of July is another holiday that's just a magnet for these vicious killers. And they will fire into a crowd. They will fire on anyone, anytime, for any reason. And it's so easy for them to do it. Just so easy for them to get a gun and to kill as many people as possible. There's always going to be nerds, and there's always going to be disgruntled people who are suicidal, who are ready to take as many lives with them as possible. There will always be people like this. There's no solution. There's no solution except to take guns away, and then they'll use vehicles instead. No solution. Our society didn't used to be like this. It was before someone gave these mass murderers the idea. It was an idea that started later in our history of our country. Wasn't like this. Even during the Civil War, it wasn't like this. But it may have been like this in the Wild West, but that didn't last long, because people cared about their lives back then, and they didn't want to get caught. And they were getting caught with these mass shootings. And so they stopped doing them. But how the West was tamed. But now it's like the Wild West everywhere. We're in the internet age. People can talk to each other. People can gossip about it, and and it's out all over the TV set. Word spreads. We had TV for maybe 50 years before these mass shootings started. And once the mass shootings started, there was no going back. But I wonder why it took 50 years for these mass shootings to start. Probably something to do with the internet. Maybe the internet is encouraging these mass shootings. So that's it. Have a great 4th of July, everyone. And don't let these shootings, these continual gunfire, continual shootings, whether it be from the police or from a mass shooter, don't let it get you down. Don't let it get you down, because your life is precious, and you deserve to live in peace. And there doesn't seem to be much peace in this country anymore. But You deserve to live without worry free. Even if you're in one of these mass shootings and are a victim, you deserve to live worry free and not worry about it every single day or think about it every single day or have flashbacks. You deserve better. You deserve better. And I'll see you next time.